hoping someone is able to help me out. So I am in school and I like drawing these pictograms to help me memorize things. I've been doing it on paper for years. It would be nice to kind of have an online format of that to carry around, but also it's easier to draw on a tablet than paper because if you make a mistake on paper, you can't really go back, especially if you're using pens. Um, I've been using OneDrive for some time, or excuse me, OneNote for some time, and it just doesn't work that well. I'm not sure if it's just not capable of the things that I want, or I don't know how to use it. So if someone could help me either find a different thing that is capable of doing what I want, that is also free or a one-time fee rather than a monthly subscription like Adobe Illustrator, that would be great. So some things that I do like about the OneNote is how you can take an object that you've drawn and just kind of put it wherever. And if you don't grab it all, that's a problem because then it doesn't pull the whole object. That's one of the issues. But it's nice that you can grab an object, and even if it's on top of another object, if you only grab that, it'll only bring it. That being said, if you don't grab it all properly, it won't take the whole thing, which is a problem that I've just worked around with, and that's not one of the big issues. It would be nice to not have to deal with it though. One of the things is that because these objects are not grouped together, they do not stay together. So, and the layers can often become messed up. So in this sense, I just pasted this object directly and it already, I turned it around and the layers are messed up. And there are ways where you can, rearrange it, but it has so many layers, you're literally going to be doing this forever just to get it where you want to go. So that sucks. And you have to pull out the specific layers if you want to change it, and that doesn't always work out, depending on how many layers are behind it. So that's one thing that is kind of crappy about it. The other thing about the layers is if you have too many layers, then the page gets overloaded, OneNote freezes, and it crashes. It's happened to me many times. I've had to separate many of my different concepts up into several different pages just to prevent it from crashing. The other things that I think are kind of terrible about it is, so because they're layers, again, it's sometimes, I'm doing the whole thing and sometimes it doesn't grab the whole object and it takes multiple attempts, especially with boxes. Like if I feel like I'm grabbing the whole box, okay, well that time it actually did it. But sometimes, if you don't get slightly, then it's not going to grab. It's one thing. Very frustrating. Also, because these items are in layers, they're not actually grouped together in any meaningful way. When you resize it, they just become separated. I don't understand why in every single other Microsoft app, when you group something, it stays together, and you can't group in OneNote. You can't group anything, you can't ungroup it. Alternative would be to take a screenshot, right? But then if I wanted to eventually unlayer it, I couldn't do that if I had it as a screenshot image rather than the layered, whatever you call this. The other thing is that when you draw something, there's no option to fill the object. You just have to fill it in manually, which is fine. I mean, that's what you do on paper, but it would be great to not have to do that. It would save a lot of time, but also by doing that, you're creating lots of layers, which again adds to the problem. So let's, if I did eventually, I'm like, oh, this circle isn't big enough, I want to rearrange it, but then that's what happens. So I don't know if there's a way to do that. I know even when you do this, there's no way to create solid fill shapes. The other thing is that when you can't duplicate, oh my gosh, sorry. You can't invert things. So I want to take this foot and I want to invert it. I want to mirror it, but you can't do that. You can do it in every other Microsoft thing. You can put it into Word and do that, but that's so many extra steps. I don't know why you can't just invert it. You can do it in Paint. And then let's see, you can't the control, and the controls also suck. It's just like you accidentally click anywhere and it will mess up the whole thing, or it glitches a lot and like you'll click somewhere and it'll select the whole page and then you can't get out of it. I don't know if anybody who's used OneNote knows what I'm talking about, but that's also another thing. And then the last thing is the controls are just awful. If you want to go full screen, the other options are not there anymore. So you almost, if you want to do anything else with the drawing, you almost always have to have it in this screen. But then if you have it in this screen, going to the pens is frustrating. So I don't understand. ¿Por qué no los dos? Those are some of the problems that I've been having with it. I don't know if there's a better app, like I said, that's free, or one cost deal, not a subscription service, or I'm just asking too much. Let me know. I would appreciate anyone's help. Thank you.